So yeah, we talked about Shohei Otani and what the Angels, should the Angels extend the guy? I mean, he's a special player. There's no doubt about it. Take a look at that video. It's in the description below. Today I want to talk about the Yankees and are there players on the team that are representative of deserving a contract extension or a consideration of an extension? And where do they stand? When are they going to be a free agent? Including the two new guys that they brought in. So I want to go over a bunch of them. Okay, the only one I'm pretty much not going over. Well, I'm going to go over them anyway. But let's start with Johnny Loizaga. Very valuable member of the bullpen. Obviously, he could be a closer pretty much anywhere on any team, including the Yankees. He's a free agent in 2025. So the Yankees still have 3 years of full team control after this season. And at 2025, or in 2025, he'll be 30. So right now he's 26. So he's young. A very valuable piece, okay? And he's been a very valuable piece for the last couple of years for the Yankees. So is this a situation where, because he's going to get, now the ARB years, he's going to get expensive through these arbitration years. So does it make sense for the Yankees to maybe buy out a couple of these, or buy out the arbitration years and add 2 years on the back end of this, or 3 years on the back end of this, so that he's on a 5 to 6 year official contract instead of waiting for him to be a free agent and then giving him a 3 or 4 year deal after that, okay? So that the Yankees get the majority of his prime years. It's just a thought, but I'd much rather have him for 26 to 32 than keep him here now and then give him a 4 year deal and get 30 to 34, 30 to 35, or whatever it is. Because if he keeps going at this rate, relievers are going to wind up getting 4 or 5 year deals, top ones. So, and he'll get one if he's still if he's still an elite reliever. So it's just a thought. He's a prime candidate for one. Next guy's Jordan Montgomery. He's the only lefty starter in the Yankees right now, with the exception of the new guy Andrew Heaney. But Jordan Montgomery's been a consistent cog here. He's a little bit further removed now from Tommy John. He's shown his value. He's been quite good this year. And he's not a free agent until 2024. And in 2024, he's going to be 31. So he's got 2 full seasons after this year as well. Is he another guy? Because the starting pitching, free agent market is always volatile. So do you get, maybe buy out these 2 years and give him 2 or 3 on top of that? So he's on a 4 or 5 year deal at a decent salary. Again, as long as these guys keep performing, they're going to get expensive through arbitration. Okay, and do you really want to get into a bidding war with teams? No. Or, almost like what the Yankees do is they wait too long, and then teams just swoop in and get these guys. Do we want to do that? No. So I would consider being proactive with some of these guys and extending them now, not waiting until they're 30, 31. Now. Okay, again, I'd rather the 5 year window start earlier than later, or a 6 year window, whatever it is. Okay, Gio Urshela. He's also a free agent in 2024, so we have 2 more full seasons. And at that point, he's going to be 32. So he's 29 right now. And again, he's become a valuable cog on the Yankees team defensively and offensively. He's shown propensity for big hits as well. And he's a fantastic defender. So at third base. And he's got range at shortstop too. So is he another one? Do you give him maybe a 2 year, adds 2 years on the back end instead of waiting for free agency? Because he's another one who will get a 3 or 4 year deal easily from somebody as long as he keeps performing. Easily. So, and I would imagine some of these guys, because it's a risk on both sides, right? The player, if they want to wait until free agency, there's no guarantee they're going to get a contract or a good one. So, and it's a risk on the team side as well. Do they wait for free agency as well and have to overpay or lose them and so on and so forth? So it makes sense in these situations for some of these guys to consider buying out some RBRs and just locking them up long term. Okay. Next up is Chad Green. 2023 is a free agent. So next year, we've got a little over a year of service with Chad Green. He's going to be 32 in 2023. So he's a little bit older on the relief end, but he's better than almost all the other relievers there. Better than O'Day. He's better than Britton is right now. Even though Britton, I think, will come back as well. But he's been a valuable cog too in the bullpen. And do they give him maybe a 2 year deal on the back end, then buy out this arbitration year, so he's on a 3 year deal, which is more indicative of relievers of his caliber, 3 year deals, right? In the rare case, 4 year deals. So another one to consider. Gleyber Torres is the next one. Do we really want to wait until he's a free agent in 2025? He'll be 28 then. And if he's performing well, he's going to be part of this. He's going to be the next version of shortstop, extravaganza here, and he's going to get a boatload of money. So that the Yankees buy out these 1, 2, 3 years of arbitration and give him, if they decide he's the guy, or unless they move, it doesn't matter if they move him to second base, if they decide he's the guy at second base and they bring in a shortstop, do they buy out these arbitration years and tack on 4 or 5 years on the back end? So he's on a 7 or 8 year deal, but it's an early 7 or 8 year deal and not a late one. Okay? Makes sense. He's only 24 right now. So, Jameson Taillon, he'll be 31 in 2023 when he's a free agent. So we have him for next year as well. And again, he's becoming one of the more valuable pitchers for the Yankees. Him and Jordan Montgomery. And he's also removed from Tommy John. He's kind of finding his groove now with new mechanics and coming into his own. So, and as long as he keeps performing, it might make sense to, and maybe not buying out arbitration for all these guys, but giving them, once they hit free agency, depending on who it is and depending on the interest that they might get, to give him a 2-year deal on the back end or even a 3-year deal. It might be worth it. But again, depending on performance. Okay, Anthony Rizzo, obviously he's come here. To me, he's a mixture of Don Mattingly and Tino Martinez. He has that elite lefty defense and bat at first base, like Don Mattingly had, but he also has that feisty leadership that Tino Martinez had. So to me, he's a combo. He's a hybrid between the two. Love the guy. And he's beloved here already. And again, he's going to be 32 at the end of the season when he's a free agent. So does it make sense to give him a couple-year deal after this? And, he turned down or didn't come to an agreement, I think, with the Cubs on an extension. I don't know what the extension was, 5 years, $70 million or something like that. So does it make sense to give him a higher dollar 3 or 4 year deal? If he keeps performing the way he is and with his leadership intangibles and an overall body of work and being a great clubhouse guy, might be a good idea, especially if you decide Luke Voigt's not the answer. Okay? If you trade Luke Voigt and you move him to another team for pitching or whatever, then Anthony Rizzo is an easy choice at first base. If you, for some reason, keep Luke Voigt and somehow the Yankees pull off a miracle of whatever and move Giancarlo Stanton to another team, then you have an easy choice too. Luke Voigt's the DH and Rizzo's first base. So, but that really depends on what they do this offseason. But Rizzo, to me, is an easy candidate right now for an extension, for just to sign him for a couple years. Okay, they can't give him a qualifying offer because he was acquired midseason. So, and the same thing goes for Joey Gallo, the last guy I want to talk about. He's a free agent in 2023, so we have him for next year too. He's only going to be 29 at that point. He's going to be young, and if he keeps performing well, again, he's going to be in line for a huge payday. So does it make sense to offer an extension early? Will he accept it? I don't know, because apparently, the extension talks broke down between him and Texas. And again, if he keeps performing and he's 29, he's going to be in line for a monster payday. So the Yankees think he's worth it, or do they let him walk next year, offer him a qualifying offer because they'll have him for the full season, and then one of their young prospect players? It will be a year closer to Jason Dominguez, the Martian, if he keeps progressing. So those are things to keep in mind too. And Estevan Florial, and we still have Greg Allen. Depending on what happens with Hicks, he'll be back. And then you have Judge, and so there's options there. Okay, so depending on what they do, but if Gallo performs the way we know he can, it might make sense. Now, 5-year deal, I don't know. It really depends on what happens with the other outfielders. Judge, because he's going to be a free agent at the same time Judge is. Are they going to bring back both? Are they going to bring back one? Are they going to bring back neither? And it'd be the dumbest decision in the world to let Judge walk as a free agent and just give him a qualifying offer. You trade him before you let him walk, or you give him an extension. I would have personally given Judge an extension 2 or 3 years ago instead of getting this late 5 or 6 or 8 year deal when he's going to be almost 40 at the end of it. Doesn't make sense. But that's just me. So these are the guys. Let me know what you think. Would you offer extensions? Would you buy at arbitration years? What kind of extension would you offer? I'm curious to know what you think. And because after this video, I'm going to go over the top superstars in baseball all across the major leagues who should be in line for things like this as well, and what the parameters might be. So be on the lookout for that one. Hope you enjoyed this one. Talk to you next time.